This is Lakaladad. He's a German import, a Holsteiner. He was a jumper in the big rings. He came to me about a month ago. We want to transition him into dressage work. He's a beautiful mover and a big giant teddy bear. We want to get to the bottom of some behavioral blips and physical markers that just kind of tell me something's wrong or off. And we want to make sure he's as comfortable as can be and happy, ultimately.
This is Cal. He's an imported jumper. He's new. Most asymmetries can be seen better at a walk rather than a trot. Now we can start seeing his hind legs twist a little bit when they're in the sand. Hard to see from the straight view, but when you look at him walking away, there's a little bit of a tendency to turn out with the hocks. Now, there's too much snap in that left hock. Snaps down. Snap. Okay, so maybe there you can see when he's walking away with the hind legs, the hocks want to twist out. Ideally, the legs should just go straight forward. There's a little itty bitty twist to the hocks, which turns the feel a little. It will look normal at a faster gait, but at a walk, the tailhead shouldn't be quite that high. You see he's very tense through the barrel at the canter particularly. And then his hind legs start looking weird. He's wanting to cross canter, but not quite doing it. Okay. So immediately his sternum is off center. So the sternum is the breastbone for the barrel, right? And it should sway. Now I was commenting when we were watching, his barrel doesn't move a lot while you're moving, while he's moving. So then the pelvic symphysis, so that's the base of the pelvis, so like the foundation of a house, it should be straight, right? Straight in between his legs, and his are swooped over to the right, both right and left side of the pelvic symphysis is swooping to the right. And in fact, the sternum is also to the right. So best guess is a big kabam on his left side would swoop it all this way. The horse has a crash, and then people think, well, he's fine. He got up, he's not lame, there's no cuts, we're good. But actually, it changed the whole alignment of the horse. So when I was watching him walk, he walked with his tail head up like this, just walking. It was up at an incline angle, not just out, but up high. And that's not a normal thing. So the tail head is the first two vertebrae, before the hair starts coming out. It's up here, right behind the sacrum. It is crooked. So why it's super important is because a lot of this gluteal muscle attaches to the top of the tail head, but then not only that, the bottom of the pelvis and even the rectus abdominis comes and all attaches here and attaches to the bottom of the tail head. So when they say it's like a rudder, it really is. It's all connected to that tail head. So when that tail head is crooked, which his is, he's fighting for neutral. He's never neutral, and then we're asking him to be balanced and collected, but he can't even get to the beginning. So sacroiliac's not moving at all. This is tuberococci. I should be able to pull down on this and have some kind of give in up here by the sacrum, and it's just hard as a rock. There's no movement there. Okay, so this shoulder is supposed to move back when I push it. It's not. Believe it or not, he's got more movement to come in these front legs. This is fine. That's nice. This, nothing. But I don't have movement in this hip joint, stifle, hock. I'm just asking for energy motilities. Sounds weird. It's just a frequency that's supposed to be there. It's not there. And that may well just be the pelvic symphysis. Like once that foundation is crooked, the whole thing is crooked. And it'll affect circulation. Also, I cannot move this lumbar at all. It should wiggle like a snake, like a dog wags its tail. Nothing. So the atlas, the top of the head where the pole, totally crooked, totally locked up. His occiput, back of the skull, locked. The whole neck is a mess. So no wonder he can't bend his neck. It's a mess. So I'm going to fix it. Now what I do is energy work, and so it doesn't look like a whole lot because it's energy. So it's kind of boring. Can he get 2 days off from riding?
Yep.
Because what we're going to do is change his balance point, his whole body's balance point, and his whole neutral. And so he needs a couple of days to reset his proprioception. And then the first time you ride him, then he'll be resetting his proprioception with a rider.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So he has more than just the tail head misaligned. He's got a few vertebrae in the tail itself. All right, so that atlas, this occiput, I can't move in any direction. So I am going to start with the sacrum. The sacrum, then the pelvic symphysis. Those are the foundations for the horse. If the bottom is not straight, none of the rest of it will be straight. Nice. So all this licking and chewing and lowering of the head, those are all good. Just usually they say that's a sign of processing. I really don't 100% go by that. I go by, is it fixed or not? But I love to see it because then you can really see that he's feeling it, you know. Okay, so that's a little movement. Do you see that? And that's all I fixed was the bottom of the pelvis. And it's hard to explain, but if your whole pelvis is crooked all the time, you can't wiggle, you know. So that's awesome. That's a really good sign for me that this isn't long term and it's not built up scar tissue or maybe kissing spine, all that kind of stuff. See this little wiggle? That's all I want, but it wasn't there before. That's the occiput. That's the occiput being separate from the atlas. So if that occiput can't do that little tiny movement, everything feels forced instead of just folding. I don't know. But it's like they have to use, they shouldn't actually need to use muscle per se to turn their neck.
Yeah.
Right? It just folds.
Everything he does feels like he's using muscle.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. What's crazy is when they're just standing here and they're perfectly aligned, only the tricep muscle is turned on. The rest of it hangs from the nuchal ligament, supraspinatus is all one big top line ligament, and the muscles hang off of it. So they're like a suspension bridge, which is why you can have 1,600 pounds, 1,800 pounds on these little feet, because it's suspended. It's so hard for us to understand, really, because we stand on our feet.
Yeah.
Hyoid is a whole apparatus. I'm going to make this simple, though. What we're going to do is we're going to feel, and it feels just like your voice box, okay? So we're going to literally cup your hand like this, cup like this, and move it back and forth, just like that. Now his is up a little bit underneath his cheekbones. So what I'm going to do is put my hand on it, and then if you put your hand over my hand, what you'll notice with him is it moves very well to his right, and you can forget about moving it to the left.
Okay.
So that tells you it's misaligned. Okay. Well,
Remarkable that I really can't, it won't budge
yes.
towards me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Huh. Wow.
So then the hyoid apparatus is attached to all the tongue ligaments, right? And so he's got to be able to move all that stuff around to get the positioning of the head, right?
Yeah.
Can't get in the frame if
Yeah.
this is going,
Yeah.
right? All right, this is right after treatment. He's walked about 100, maybe 200 feet down to the arena. So this is his first free movement. Now what I see is a subtle increase in his barrel trying to move side to side. He's also trying to figure out where his new balance point is, his new proprioception. Things just look wigglier. There's more movement through the pelvis, for sure. So now I'm really starting to see the barrel move, some flexion through the barrel too. The horse shouldn't be a straight block on a lunge line. It should bend. That's the neck down I want to see. Okay, his hind end still looks a little weird to me, but definitely more put together. And the trot looks very nice and through. There's even more elongation through the neck. Now he's had a lot of things that were stuck, so we're going to have to give him some time to muscle up so he can manage all these changes. But looking at Cal, it won't take long.